And you say, I have no idea. I said, do you even know that he's coming? You say, no, I don't. I would think for a moment that, look, you don't have your facts straight. Number one, you have to know who you're waiting for. And number two, to make sure that they're coming. So the first step that we have to understand in this falsafah intizar al-Mahdi is the concept of knowing who we're waiting for. Because the question I'll ask you when you say, I have no idea who I'm waiting for, is, well, if you don't know, then when he arrives, how will you know that he's here? So this brings me to a whole different topic of ma'arifat of the Imam. And very, very briefly in 10 minutes, let's discuss this, let's understand that the Imams all throughout history painted this picture of anticipation for the coming of our 12th Imam. If you look at the majority of our du'as that are asked to recite during the ghaibat, they all come from previous Imams, not from the 12th Imam himself. Du'a Tawassul, for example, our 11th Imam. Du'a Ma'arifat, our 6th Imam. All these other du'as that we had that are asked to read during the ghaibat of the Imam are not from the 12th Imam himself. Which means that the discussion of this Mahdi would happen throughout history and throughout the Imams. For example, Du'a Ma'arifat. Our 6th Imam, Imam Jafri as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam, Iqsawab Hijr Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. I need a very, very nice salawat, please, from all of you. Thank you. Thank you. Our 6th Imam had a companion by the name of Zurara, very famous companion. And this companion was somebody who was obsessed with this concept of the 12th Imam. And every time our 6th Imam would mention this concept of the Mahdi, the Mahdi, the Mahdi, he would be intrigued. And he would ask the Imam countless questions upon questions upon questions. Tell me about him, what's going to happen when he comes, etc. Eventually he gets to a point where he asks the Imam that those who are waiting for the Imam, what is it that they should do? What is the best thing for them to do every single day? There our 6th Imam taught Zurara this du'a ma'arifat. That if those who are waiting for the Imam can recite this small dua every day, they've done the best deed. Dua ma'arifat is in Mafati, it's all over the internet. If you don't have it, ask me, I can email it to you. It's a small, small dua. And Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Allahumma arifni nafsak. The first line. Allah give me ma'arifat of who you are. فَإِنَّكَ إِن لَمْ تُعَرِّفْنِ نَفْسَكَ لَمْ أَعْرِفْ رَسُولَكَ. If I don't have ma'arifat of who you are, I won't have ma'arifat of your Rasul. Allahumma arifni nabiyyak. فَإِنَّكَ إِن لَمْ تُعَرِّفْنِ نَبِيَّكَ لَمْ أَعْرِفْ حُجَّتَكَ. Oh Allah, give me ma'arifat of your Nabi. If I don't have ma'arifat of your Nabi, I will not have ma'arifat of your hujjat. Allahumma arifni hujjatak. فَإِنَّكَ إِن لَمْ تُعَرِّفْنِ حُجَّتَكَ ذَلَلْتُ عَنْ دِينِي. The dua says that if I don't have ma'arifat, oh Allah, give me ma'arifat of your hujjat. If I don't have ma'arifat of your hujjat, ذَلَلْتُ عَنْ دِينِي. I will be misguided from the religion. So this, our 6th Imam is creating this chain where if you want to know who your 12th Imam is, it chains back up to knowing who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. Yani ma'arifat of Allah is ma'arifat of the hujjat of your time. So let's understand, first and foremost, this concept of the Mahdi is not a concept that has been born these past 30, 40, 50 years. Of course not. Like I said, that whenever the companions would get a little bit hopeless around the Imams, you know that the Imams from Mawla Ali all the way down to 11th Imam went through tremendous oppression. And really it's worth noting, and a whole ashra, a whole 10 majalis should be dedicated to the oppression of the Ahlul Bayt. What our Imams went through to establish the deen and establish haqq. And every time that their companion khas, their ashab sir who were around them, would question this, say, look, you are the Khalifa of the time, you are the Wali of Allah, how can you allow these people to govern? They would say, and they would paint this picture of anticipation, saying, look, eventually our grandson will inherit this land, and will be the ruler of the time, and Islam will prevail. And they will do this all throughout history. And this would be a source of comfort for the companions. And so what I want all of us to have inside of our hearts is this sense of anticipation that the Imam is coming. Look, injustice is spreading like wildfire. If you think for a moment that, oh, he's quite a ways away from coming, remove that from your mind. Our ulama have identified that this right now is the highest level of injustice that they've seen in a long time. So he's on his way, he's coming. The question is, are you and I ready? Today is Thursday. If he comes tomorrow, are we ready? If he comes next Friday, are we ready? And these thoughts don't even enter our mind because we have this feeling, oh, you know what? I'll start working when he comes. No. Our job is to start now. Look, we have a beautiful hadith that says, intazar al-faraj, afzal al-ibadah. That waiting for the faraj is the highest level of worship. Let's look at that hadith for a moment and understand what it's trying to tell us. Ek salawat bheji Muhammad wa ala Muhammad par. The hadith says that waiting for the Imam is the highest level of worship. And we've identified that the state of intizar, the state of waiting, is what's called a very manfi state in Farsi. It's a very negative state. You're sitting there waiting, doing nothing basically, waiting for someone to come. You are waiting for somebody because you don't have a certain thing that they have. For example, if you're waiting for a ride, it's because you don't have a car. If you're waiting for food, it's because, well, you don't have food. So the state of waiting is a very negative state. It's a state where you have identified that you don't have something. But here our hadith is saying what? That this state is the highest level of worship. There's a problem here. Either our mafhum, our understanding of intizar is something else, or the hadith is wrong. Well, the hadith can't be wrong, obviously. So our understanding of intizar has to change. Waiting for your parents to come pick you up at Sabah and waiting for the Imam are two different types of intizar. According to our hadith, we understand that there is a huge misconception inside of our communities where we believe that, look, I know the Imam is in ghaibat, I understand that, I have certainty that he'll arrive. My job now is to sit in the corner and wait for him. When he comes, then, then I'll see what happens. This misconception has to be removed from your minds. And we have to understand that if he went into ghaibat because of the people, he will come out of ghaibat because of the people. That if he went into ghaibat out of safety for his life, because there was a danger on his life, then the complete opposite has to occur for him to come out of ghaibat. Does that make sense to everybody here? The only reason why he went into ghaibat was because of this concept that his life was at danger. That the Khalifa of that time had made it very clear that whoever stands in my way, I will finish them off. So Allah protected him by taking him into ghaibat. Now, for us to make Allah feel like the moment that he is allowed to come out of ghaibat, we'll defend him, that's up to us. That's up to us to convince Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, look, if you release your wali, we will guide him, we will protect him. And again, like I said, today and tomorrow, there's a lot to discuss. This concept of 313, this concept of what are we waiting for? What will Imam's hukumat look like? What will a day in the life of the Imam look like? These are all discussions that have to happen. And they will happen tomorrow, inshallah. But today I want to set the base, understanding the basic elements of this grand Imam that we're waiting for. So, we understand that ma'rifat is a very important key. That if somebody asks you, oh, you're waiting for the Imam, describe to me what your Imam is or who your Imam is. Are you able to tell that person who your Imam is? His parents' name, his birth date, when he went into ghaibat, why he went into ghaibat, all these things. The basics. If not, then tell yourself tonight, you know what, I'm going to learn everything I can about the Imam tonight. So the first step of intizar is ma'arifat. I have that ma'arifat. Let's move on to yaqeen. We discussed the concept of yaqeen already. This idea that he has to come to be an ambassador of Allah